Good morning, Year 9, Year 9b. I hope you're keeping yourselves well and that you're getting used to working from home. This is Mr Sutton, and I'm coming from you from my back bedroom where I've set up my office this morning. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through what you should be working through in your booklet. Now, you've got that new booklet, and there should be a number of things that should have already been done. We should went through these in the lessons that we've had, or the lesson that we've had. The first one that we should have all complete, and I know a couple of you didn't manage to do this, and that is that first page, which is these kind of mind map boxes. Now, each of these you should have general mind maps about the user needs. That should be the types of things that the person will need as part of the function of your container. So stuff like keeping things warm, keeping things cool, keeping things from leaking, keeping things dry. You know, those are the general bits and pieces, but there might be other stuff that you want to put into there. We're looking at ideas at this point. And then we come down to the other two boxes which focus on, let me just get that, what the form is of the container and what the function is of the container. Now the form is purely just talking about what shape it is. Now I'm going to be using this particular scan that I used. We've got this one, but you know this one that I've used the previous students' work, which I think is actually a better example. What they've discussed is things that are shaped for the grip, shaped so that you can hold it to fold it over. You can see that it's got this sort of what we would call a wasted, a sort of inwards part at the waist of the container that allows this circumference to be about the right size for the average hand. You've seen this on loads of different things. You can have a look around your house and I'm sure you'll be able to find loads and loads of bits and pieces on that generally. But we should be trying to think about those when we fill out that particular section, and the function is just the same type of thing but just focusing on what it does, so that this is kind of the shape of it, this is what it does. Now coming down on this one, we should have our product analysis page all complete as well. That replaces this page here. It should be stuck in. That's the image that we got from the internet in the last lesson and we annotated around it. Now some of you didn't do as detailed annotations as you possibly could do. Use some of these questions on here to help link those up and try to make them look a little bit better. And then we can go into the suitability for your teenager and also suitability of materials. Now this is a section that we didn't actually cover inside the lesson, and it's something that I'd like you to think about. Look at the image that you've put above on the previous page. You've annotated it up. What is your opinion on its suitability for a teenager? Now remember, for that you really just don't put down, oh, I think it's good, or I don't think it's that good, or I think it's okay. I want to see justified three-part paragraphs wherever possible. So if I was in this one, I'd be trying to think about the type of stuff that I put in. So I would be going along the lines of, yes, I really like the actual thing, I think it is suitable for a teenager, and then give me some reasons on this. What is the reasons that you think it is good for a teenager? So maybe you say it's brightly coloured, that it's an appropriate size for the type of food that a teenager would want to take on a camping trip. Give me benefit of your thoughts. I'd like you to take it a little bit beyond the obvious and try to fill in both of those boxes. Now that should take you, considering the others should have been all complete, that should take you no more than say 10-15 minutes on that. For the hour lesson, we should have the analysis of the brief. That should also have been done again in that lesson before we went into the IT lab. And then we've got, if we come scoot along a bit, we have got this. Now this is the bit that I would like us please to focus on today. This should all be completed by the end of this lesson, and that is your specification. Now a specification, as I described it to you, covers all of these bits and pieces about aesthetics, function, the customer, and how it is constructed. And I'd like these done, and I've put some examples in here. They should all be finished. That is covering what you would have to do in your product analysis and thinking about it on those mind maps, what you would like your product to look like. So I've given an example here and I split it up into 3 parts to help you out. And I'll zoom in slightly so we can see that nice and clearly on the video. My product should be attractive looking as well as stylish in order to appeal to my target audience. This may mean the use of bright colours or innovative styling of the shape. I may also use a logo to catch the eye of my target audience. Remember, some of you are thinking about doing it for a festival, so that's the point. Therefore, I need to be as creative as possible in my designs to achieve this. Now, this is a fairly basic three-part paragraph, and for those people that are going above a 5, I would expect more detail or multiple parts to your three-part paragraph in each of these. Function is obviously what it does. I want my food container to carry both food and drinks. This means my user will have everything they need for camping trips. Therefore, I need to include separate sections in my designs for as many foodstuffs as possible. I might continue to talk about I need to make sure it's airtight. I might need to make sure that the water doesn't mix with the dry goods or the sandwiches or whatever. You can add to it. And again, this is just a basic one, that sort of 4-5 sort of level, and I want you to take it beyond that and really make sure that you've got, for each of these, as many and as detailed parts as you possibly can. Now that should take you, I would say, another half an hour to do each of these really well. We have, in the lesson as well, we managed to get on to doing our concept designs. These were the 6 to 8 designs that we did in the lesson quickly, and we did them for 7 minutes. If you could then spend your last 15 minutes just making sure that those were all complete, that you've got a good 6 of those, and maybe annotate around them. And remember that if you're a bit unsure about what annotation is, which should be as detailed as possible. I'll show you an example that I've got in my documents on here, so if you just bear with me a moment. It should be as detailed as possible so that it covers all of those, areas that we need. And I've got an example here on the PowerPoint. We used it as a part of a lamp, if you remember, in the lesson when we were discussing it previously. This is the type of stuff that you should be looking at. So they're decent and justified statements. And you've got here, down here, the different areas you can consider for your drawings, like function, materials, process, and key features. Remember, a simple word or two is labeling, and it's not annotation. So those need to be really well annotated. Finally, that should complete the lesson. If you get all of those bits and pieces sorted out, the next lesson we're looking at next week, I'm going to move into really building up our concept designs, stuff such as the one we've got just here, trying to draw these in a lot more detail. I think that a drawing such as this should take up to 45 minutes to an hour, so I'm expecting these to be quality, non-rushed drawings, but that will be in lesson 2. That'll be next week where we'll start to have a look at that. We do not want something that's rushed. Hopefully that's been nice and simple and straightforward and you've been able to go through those. I will be continuing to actually put my videos up onto YouTube, so if you miss any of them, my channel is always this particular one here, and that's Mr Sutton DT. If you search for that one, it says DT Kings because when I used it in my previous school, but it has lots of other stuff on there. We'll be looking at plastics and other things. If you go into the Year 9 ones underneath my playlists, you can find other videos that can help you out if you're a bit stuck for work. If other subjects have not set it or you can't actually see it, it'll be underneath my playlists for Year 9, and you can see there's loads and loads of stuff on here. They're great videos that should help you out and certainly help you with the subject. Hope that's been useful, Year 9, and I hope to see you soon. Keep yourself safe and hope everything goes okay.